What's up, fellas? Before we get this episode started, welcome back to the Daniel Federico show. In today's episode, we're gonna be talking to Vince Angelini, the JV director for the JV Loop. As I'm repping the merch today, he sent me it, so we're gonna get into that. We're gonna be talking about the JV Loop, where to sign up, all that type of information today. We're gonna talk about the NRMFA as a whole organization, with some generals, and maybe we'll get his pick for the Super Bowl. Coming up is the Vince Angelini episode. Guys, we have Vince Angelini here today, the JV Loop Director for the Niagara Regional Football Association. How you doing today, Vince?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm doing awesome. Thanks for the merch today. I like repping it. I
You
like
like
repping
that,
the
eh?
shirt and the hat. It's
Gotta
pretty
rep you, yeah,
nice.
for sure.
So, talk to me about the JV Loop in a little bit. Just talk about all the information.
Yeah, no, for sure. This is our second year in a row that we're going. You probably heard me say this before. So we had six teams last year. Like between Meyer, Collegiate was there, Fort Erie. We had a couple teams out in the Grimsby area, so West Niagara and Blessed Trinity. And so we had about 220 kids last year, so grade nines to 9, 10, 11. Um, and so, we'd play Thursday nights, sometimes Friday nights. And it was a great way for kids that didn't want to travel, didn't want to pay the $1,000 to play travel, had a
100%, yeah.
job. Yeah. So, or, those kids that maybe weren't good enough for tier one. We gave them a spot to play, and it's everybody plays. So it was really good for them. And it was really good for the fall. Like you noticed, and I've talked to a few of the coaches, and their teams got better, and they noticed the difference, right? So you got kids that were more confident, were able to go out, and it wasn't their first time out, and so they got that experience, right? So they were able to, they enjoyed it, and they were able to participate in the fall.
Yeah, so they got a lot of experience now, and it's a from Meyer. I know that they work in with their playbook in the JV
Yeah,
loop, right? So those kids are now getting
100%.
comfortable with the playbook. Some probably new to the playbook, so it's honestly a good
Yeah.
plus.
Yeah, it's good for everybody, right? Like, so it's good for the coaches to get familiar with the players. They could actually even start seeing those players those pieces that they can fit in the fall, and where they would fit in, or maybe they saw somebody that they thought could do one thing, maybe they can do more than that, right? Or somebody new comes along and they're like, hey man, we didn't know we were going to get this kid, and now we got him, so now we got a plan to use this kid here, or so many different things, right? But again, great for the kids and for their confidence, and it really showed. So
So let's say, can you list off all the schools that are involved? I know like not every school is involved in the Niagara region, but
yeah,
I know there's a couple. Can you just list them all off?
yeah, for sure. From a school perspective that actually participated, West Niagara was one, officially. Meyer was another one. Collegiate was another one. Fort Erie was another one. Like, so these are school propers that had their kids. And then we had kids from all different other schools, right? We had kids from St. Paul that came out, Notre Dame that came out. I've got like 10 kids already registered now from Notre Dame, right? Uh, I've got Sir Winston. So we're having a coaches night next Tuesday. Sir Winston Junior coaches are coming out. So it's getting bigger. So I'm like, we're really hoping to grow this thing to 8 teams this year. So it's getting popular, and I've actually got a request from someone out in Mississauga that wants to bring a team out here to play, and I'm like, so it's good. It's good for the kids, and it's good for football in Niagara for sure. There's enough kids, that this would work, and tier one works, so it's really good.
100%. So let's say those kids that don't have the schools involved, because what would happen to them? Would they just get picked on or assigned to a random team, or how did that
Yeah,
work?
so for sure. So what we try to do is, kind of respect where they're from, and try to keep them, close to home as possible. Or, if they wanted to, they had a buddy playing on whatever team, we would try to help and facilitate that, right? But yeah, so if just because school's not involved doesn't mean those kids can't sign up. We make sure that they get suited up and they have equipment, and yeah. So for the most part, um, last year, all the schools that participated, they provided equipment for the kids, and and whoever provided their jerseys, we also provided jerseys. But yeah, so if they don't have a school proper that's going to register or sign up in the league, we make sure they have a helmet, equipment, and everything.
Perfect. So when
Yeah.
does the season start? Let's say when does I would say practice, training camp. When does training camp
Yeah.
start?
So yeah, typically we start in April. Some of the coaches may start uh, maybe a little bit, a couple weeks into April, but typically like near the beginning of April. And in a few weeks we should know uh, by and large how many kids we're going to have and where those kids are going to go team wise. So yeah, so we'll start from April, and then I think we run into June. We do 6 games, so we do five games for the season, and we do a bowl game at the end.
So every team gets to be part of that bowl game. Like every team has their own.
Absolutely.
That's
Yep,
pretty awesome.
absolutely.
That's pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
nobody's sitting out of this one, man. So everybody's we'll match them up this year again, depending on how the teams are. We might even have a kind of like East West. If we get the 8 teams, we'll have 4 teams on one side and 4 teams on the other. We've talked about even potentially crossing over. So yeah, there's if we get the 8 teams, there's a lot of stuff we can do.
That's pretty awesome. And it's like this when we have say Catholic schools involved too. You don't really
Mhm.
see those matchups anymore. Public school versus Catholic
No,
schools. So if
no, you
I would
don't.
hope that Catholic schools really get on board of that because that's the competition that I think is missing in football in Niagara is the public board versus the Catholic board. Like I know we're trying to get an STM team out there, St. Paul team out there. Those two schools, they just hopefully we can get those guys involved because imagine St. Paul versus AMI or summer rivalry. That would be
Yeah,
pretty awesome.
it's back to I guess back to the old days, right? Like even before my time here. So, but yeah, so I know there's talks about that. Just within high school football proper. I know guys are talking about that happening. But yeah, here's another way to kind of do it, right? And I know I've been talking to Mark Antonelli at St. Mike's, and so he's willing to see if he can put a team in. And again, and like I said to him, I go, this will help your program. So for any of those programs that were struggling, this year to get players, one reason or another, this may be the door for teams to rebuild their programs.
1000%. Because I know a lot of Catholic schools were really struggling this year, just because there's numbers. It's a numbers day at the end of the day, and everybody wants to play basketball now. It seems like.
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to one of the coaches at DM. Like, it's not they've got the kids, but like you said, they're also playing other sports because if you look at it logistically, Dennis Morris and Sir Winston are right across the street from each other, and Sir Winston had 2 successful teams, right? One winning the championship, right? So there's no reason why DM shouldn't have 2 teams. So I think there's a lot that goes into it. When you talk about the Myers of the world and the St. Paul's and the guys that were there, and even Fort Erie with Dave Sauer. So you get guys that are committed, and that's why those programs were strong or are strong. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it always football in Niagara feels like ever since like I was a kid or whatever, it always fluctuated. It would go up, it would be a popular sport, and then now it
Yeah,
just seems like it's not really a popular sport. Well, flag football is, and that's where NRMFA is now involved in flag football. So, what are the
yeah,
age groups on flag football for the parents that could be listening or watching?
yeah. So we start. I believe they start at either 6 or 8 years old, and they run right up to like 16 years old. They also have an adult league that they're running on Monday nights down at the old Cynics at the Sportsplex. Um, so yeah, and it's interesting you say that. I know you were saying like football's kind of up and down, and I know we've seen numbers go down across the board everywhere. I think, but I think the new Adam or sorry the new Tykes is like in flag, right? They start in flag, and getting a lot of parents calling me and said, hey, my kids played flag for 2 or 3 years, now he wants to try tackle, right? And getting a lot of those emails and a lot of those phone calls now. So it's okay. I like it, but as long as the kids are still playing football, right?
Yeah.
And that's the big thing.
That's what I realized from the past like 2 years when I coached for the single A division. Hopefully it comes back this year. I talked to Andrew Lewis and he said that he's just figuring out numbers and he did submit a
Yeah,
team, so he's just gonna figure out numbers with the Generals double A or is Generals still double A this year?
double A. Yeah,
Yeah, double A, they're gonna figure out numbers and stuff like that. But that's what I realized from the past 2 seasons as these kids come from playing flag football and they need to learn it all. And I would say if there is a single A loop this year, that's perfect to put the kid in to start playing football at this age.
absolutely. Like again, like and I've said to parents, like put your kids in. It's they're not too young. I mean when your brother and yourself and even my son were playing, like they're playing at like you know 7 years old, right? Playing tackle, right? They really didn't play flag back then, and but now I say to I'm telling these parents, get them into tackle for even a couple years, so at least when they're coming into high school, you can tell who's played who was playing tackle and who wasn't, right?
Yeah.
And those tackle kids are a lot more confident. You can just feel it.
Yeah, they're just way more confident. And I would say this, like especially if there's a kid that's been playing football all the way up until like grade 8. I think that's like the year if you're going into high school and you're thinking of playing tackle football, you have to play at least 1 year of tackle. That should be a minimum just so you're not
Absolutely,
shy. That should just so you're not shy or you already have the fundamentals down pat. Because high school coaches sometimes like you'll get lucked out. You'll luck out and some of them they'll have patience for you, teach it all. But like you just look way more better, and they'll put more trust in you if you're already ready.
100%, 100%. And then I honestly wish even back when I played, I wish I would have played Bombers football in Hamilton when I was a kid. I go my parents had no idea what that was, right? But like again, that's why I say these parents get them in now, like get them in grade 7, or even get them a spring and a fall season, with generals, and you'll just see their confidence just soar.
What could parents look out for this year and for double A? Any age group, is there any new news that parents should look out for before the winter camp start or tryouts
Um,
start?
so Yeah, so the tryouts are going to be starting in April, depending on fields, weather, and whatnot. It's pretty much the same as last year. We're going with the three teams, with the Bantam, the Pee Wee, and the Adams. And Pee Wees will be defending that title as provincial champs. Like, so we're pretty jacked up about that. So a couple provincial championships in a few years is a pretty good feather in the cap, or two feathers in the cap for sure.
Oh, 100%. Is Chris Lundy
Yeah.
back coaching?
The godfather of football. Absolutely. He'll be back.
There we go.
Absolutely.
There
Yeah.
we go. And so where would the tryouts be held this year? I don't know if parents have that information. Is it usually in Welland at that Welland spot still?
So we're going to see right now, again, depending on the weather, we're looking, I think we did last year, we were at the Titan Sportsplex, which was the old Cynics in the falls there. So I think we may be back there. But we'll be letting everybody know via social media, Facebook, Instagram, and just mass emails.
All right. And they can all register at footballniagara.com. Yeah,
Absolutely.
100%.
That's
And then
it.
say, do you know a price range roughly?
Yeah, so for the travel program, it's 750, and that'll cover your insurance. Um, and for JV, just to go back to JV there for a sec, it's 199, and that's with the insurance
Oh,
as
that's
well.
that's
So
perfect. That's way
yeah.
cheaper than playing Spears or anywhere else.
Oh man, absolutely. Like it's again, and forgetting equipment and everything else, and the cost of everything just keeps going up, right? Fields,
Yeah.
refs, and everything, which is understandable. But we're trying to keep that, going back to JV, we're trying to keep that price to a minimum, right? And again, that allows those kids to participate. They want to have a job in the summer. Hey, go at it, right? You've got a girlfriend or whatever, you can go hang out. You're not practicing, 5 nights a week and a game on the weekend. It's 3 nights a week, and that's it, right? And you get a night game too. So
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So you
yeah,
practice twice, play once. That's
yeah,
not bad. That's pretty
absolutely.
good. That's pretty flexible
It is pretty good.
schedule.
Yeah,
What are the home fields? So let's say A. they obviously have their home field, but let's say with the
yeah.
schools like can't field the team or can't have access to their fields in the summer. Or
Yeah, no, for sure. So for games last year we did Meyer, we did Fort Erie, and we did West Niagara. We'll continue to use those fields this year for games. We're looking to expand a bit, so hopefully we can get BT, Blessed Trinity, which is very close to West Niagara. They've got a nice field out there in Grimsby.
brand new too,
Um,
right?
so yeah, I think it's just a couple years old. And then again, just talking with the coaches and we'll see Tuesday night, maybe there's some availability at Sir Winston to do games. Everybody wants to do a home game, right? So
Yeah.
we'll see how that plays out this year, but I think we're good. We're going to be good for fields. And those schools that are participating, like, the Myers and the Fort Eries and now if Winston participates, um, they'll have access to their own fields. And then, again, just going back, uh, we might have participation from Welland Centennial because they showed interest, and we got a lot of kids from Notre Dame that want to play. So we're gonna look at putting up a Welland team up there with Jeff Adams and a couple guys coaching up there. So
That'd be pretty
so that'll
awesome.
be pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be pretty awesome. Well, if any of those schools need coaches, I know around nine of them, nine coaches I can know.
I know where you're going. I already got you slotted in for a school. Don't you worry.
Well, we're gonna try hard. I was actually talking to Mark yesterday. He's pumped for
Yeah,
us to coach and get this. I really hope it does. I really hope it does come to fruition because that'd be
yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like and I spoke to Mark and I spoke to one of the coaches at St. Francis, and they're interested as well. So, hopefully this catches on. It's a second year, back. So let's see what happens. And I really feel like good things are happening with the league. The kids really enjoyed it last year. It was a good experience. And again, at the end of the day, everybody played. And I got kids coming up to me and like, "Hey, coach, like, I feel like I got so much better, or I got more playing time this year." Like, so those are the things you want to hear, right? Those are the good things.
Yeah, gain confidence
Yeah,
going into the off season actually, because after that, be
yeah,
off season and then going into the fall. So getting confidence. Then actually, when the season's end, all those kids they're not gonna be confident. Go into the gym, get bigger, come out to training camp in
the way it
the spring
works.
season. It's perfect.
Yeah, like you don't have a long grind of a season, and you get to relax before your fall season. Hit the gym, start your workouts again, and yeah, so it's really a win-win for those kids. And listen, I know, we want to call it a developmental league and things like that, but don't be fooled, man. There are some there are some real ballers out there. Like last year, we had some really, really talented players playing out there that could easily play at the highest level. So don't be fooled. There's some really good kids out there.
Yeah, I saw those videos. What's that Instagram account that Niagara Generals
Creative
use?
Pro,
Yes, that guy. That guy is great
play.
at what he does, by the way. But yeah,
He's the man.
I saw a bunch of films what he did, and he's actually on this year. He's gonna be doing the exact same thing, the game highlights.
Yeah. So what we did, so I talked to him regularly, and we came up with an idea. So basically, we've added him to the registration. So as an example, for generals, you can get Creative Pro video, or you can get photos, or you can get both as a combination. Add it to your registration, and then he'll be doing the home games. So he'll be there with his video, and if you register and you select those options, he's going to be making sure that he's taking lots of photos of those players, and he'll be able to provide those to the families, and a video as well. And then so we also have that option for JV because those kids love that. They love their hype videos, right?
Yeah,
So
they love it. But yeah,
yeah,
that's pretty awesome. He does great
yeah,
stuff, especially when he does it for the Meyer home games, Meyer Lights. I remember that's what it's called.
yes,
Yeah, he does a
yeah,
fantastic job. So if I have to say for parents that are looking at that in the registration, click that, click it.
yeah. Creative Pro, Clay is the man, and yeah, he does all the high schools, and his videos are they're pretty sick.
Top notch. What would you have to say
Yeah.
to programs that don't have a team yet and not even thinking of joining yet? But what do you have to say to try to convince them to join?
Oh man, I mean, I'm not sure what else more I could say. I'm telling you, like, again, from the feedback I get, like, and I've talked to the Zach Silverthorns at West Niagara, the Dave Buchanans, I talk to him regularly, right? Like they will tell you that, their players are getting better. Like you said earlier, you're you're basically learning that playbook, that school's playbook, throughout the spring. and then you're taking that information and you're bringing it to the fall, you're just that much more ready to go, right? So again, I really think it's a great opportunity for kids that want to get better or want to, succeed at their high school team and in and see more playing time. I'm telling you, that's a really good way, really great option to go. And again, for the $200 and you can still work and do all those other things, you can't beat it.
It's honestly perfect because you get to learn a playbook. You bring it into the fall season. You already have a
Hmm.
head start, and especially if you're not getting playing time, say you're in grade nine this year, you didn't get any playing time. You come and play for those coaches in the JV loop. You actually get a lot of playing time. You get their approval. You start creating trust with them. Then comes grade 10. You know the playbook off your heart now,
Yeah,
and they've seen you work. So now it's just you guys.
for
All you have
sure.
to do is show up and play.
Yeah, no, for sure. And a lot of the schools, or not a lot of the schools, but like at Meyer, we had a few of the uni coaches that are there helping out, right? From McMaster, we had guys coming out from Queens last year to help run practices and run some of the drills. So those guys, they know they're looking, right? They see guys, right? So we're gonna have a bunch of them out again this year, and I'm gonna hopefully bring them out to some of the other schools, right? So they can get the opportunity, and you know what I mean, and they can learn from those guys.
All right. Thanks, Vince, for joining us. Anything else you want to say about registration or anything before we sign it off?
No, all I could say is just register as soon as you can. Footballniagara.com. Click that registration button right at the top. All the links are there. There's one for JV Loop, and there's one there for Generals. There's one there for Flag. So let's go. Let's have a great season.
Thank you, Vince, for coming on. I appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
All right, guys. That was the Vince Angelini episode. And what I want to say is register at footballniagara.com. We said it plenty of times in the interview, but I just want to chit chat with you guys. But I want to say sign up at footballniagara.com. Click the registration button at the top. Find what you want to play, what level of football you want to play. You want to play tackle football, you want to play JV, or you want to play flag. Sign up. If you're playing JV, you have a good chance being coached by me and a bunch of other great coaches. Or if you're playing generals, if they have a single A team, there's a great chance that you'll be coached by me. And if you're not, and if you're on the generals double A team, you're going to be coached by the best coaches in Niagara. Chris Lundy, the godfather of football Niagara himself. You'll be coached by him. And, if you get picked to be on the single A team, you're going to be coached by Daniel Federico, myself. So, and my whole entire great staff. I also want to talk to you guys about just what I've been up to. You guys don't really see me that much, I've been chilling. I've been doing some commentating for Mohawk basketball and volleyball. Been an absolute blast, by the way. Here's some clips. Actually, I'm gonna roll some clips of me calling a couple games. Calling actually. Here's a clip. I'm just gonna roll it. Bang.
Coming up with a lot of speed to Jalen Jackson. What's up? In this fourth quarter, Charlie Hennessy! Charlie Hennessy with the three-tie ball game. Charlie Hennessy, I told you, you need a sharpshooter. He's your guy. Now he's playing some defense.
It's honestly very fun to commentate, and I've been doing a bunch of other things, food reviews. Bang! Go watch that Mohawk College Broadcasting, their YouTube channel. Go watch the food reviews. I'll tell you that for free. All right. Just wanted to say what's up. Also, the Cowboys are in the dumps, but we're gonna save that probably for a Four Kings episode. But that's been the Daniel Federico episode. Thank you for tuning in, guys. I very much appreciate it. And have a great day. Have a great night whenever you're watching this. Bye.